Well, I guess if we go with the Western definition of resilience, I mean, it means basically to have the capacity and the ability to return back to normalcy after some difficult situation. Um, I kind of see it as a tree on top of a mesa, sort of bending as the wind's blowing. And as soon as the wind dies, it sort of returns back to its normal stance. I think there's a fallacy in that different definition because there's really no way to go back to normalcy. What is normal? And I think I say that in the sense of what we've experienced here with the recent pandemic. It has made us resilient, and I guess the way that I would describe it is that there's a difference in the way that Western people see resilience, which is the definition that I sort of gave. You know, they bounce back and they act like nothing happened and then they continued their journey. For us, I think you have to look back at history of what our people, the indigenous people, endured, whether it's from the colonial people or whether it's from the Spanish people or other people who came and tried to eradicate us, if not to try to assimilate. And of course, there's always the relocation portion, that a lot of the Plus Pueblos endured. And so when we look at that history, it's just there's been changes that and challenges that have come within our ancestors, but they've learned to adapt. They've learned to take on that challenge and using whether the ancestral history, knowing the stories, because it's not the first time our ancestors have faced challenges. When you look at this mountain behind me, that's part of our sacred Toayelani Mountain, Corn Mountain, and how we survived basically two big events. One was the Great Flood that, all the Pueblo communities have, but the other one was the invasion of the conquistadors and how our families took refuge on this mountain. And so that is, in a way, an example where experience has infused in our ancestors how to be resilient, how to adapt. How did they learn to live up there for that long period of time? How did they learn to survive when the floods were close to, the tops of these mesas? And it's those that they've passed on generations to generations, not only visually by looking at this mountain, but also orally, that they've given generations to generations. To say that there's really no challenge that we haven't encountered that we, if we reflect back, are able to face the challenges now. We've had a lot of illnesses approach a lot of our communities. Back then, without modern medicine, it was the cultural teachings, the reliance on traditional practitioners, healers, and traditional medicines and ceremonies that, yes, there were some people that succumbed to their end of their life's journey, but there's a great multitude that were saved and they move forward. And it's that experience that they have shared within families, within in generations. So in a way that has let us know that resiliency has always been part of indigenous people. But I think one thing we have to realize is that resiliency doesn't come individualistically, it comes communally, meaning not only within your family, but within the collective community. Our Zuni Pueblo had 6 villages when, Coronado came, and after all the wars, it collapsed into one big main village. And that collective union of the six pueblos made it that we were able to resist a lot of challenges during those days. And so that sort of lends to the idea of the collective survival, the collective resilience that has been built within our people.